My screen. All right. That's cool. Okay, so for the overall update, we are pretty much trending higher for quite some weeks now, and I'm pretty sure Rizal and I have put out so many longs and spot buys for overall trades. Uh, why no Shinigami? Why no Shinigami? I was actually busy traveling for a few weeks, for the last few weeks. That's why I was not really active on Telegram, just on Twitter. That's why. And now that I am back from my overall traveling break, I'll be pretty much active on all sites. And if you guys have like DMs that are pending for the notions, yeah, I'll respond. I'll respond to like everybody for the notions as well this week. And just for the BTC update, it's pretty much like just slow grinding here, which is very obvious, just a continuation of like a higher lows. Lows keep holding higher than the last high. Then there's obviously a break of high from the previous high, which represents a higher high. And we've just been doing that for quite a long time, which represents both scenarios. That is TVAP as well for you, which just means that a lot of buy orders are being executed per second time intervals, like maybe like one BTC buy for 100 BTC order is being executed like every 5 second, 10 second. That's what we call TVAPs. And I've explained this prior in our prior sessions as well, which I did in Arena, that TVAPs are actually the most important part of a structure that looks like this. That is like a lot of multiple buys. So if we have a 100 BTC buy, that's that's to be executed. If you execute such a buy on just like one candle, it will just like give you both a bad entry. Like if you wanted to enter here on the low of the candle, and if you just like put a 100 BTC buy order, just one market order, it will give you a very bad slippage entry, and it will let the price do a quick pump like this, which will not be as efficient as what you see here. Like you could TVAP that order, like layer that order, one BTC by one BTC. Let's just say we have to fill 100 BTC order. So what we are gonna do is like we are gonna place one BTC orders per 30-second intervals maybe, or maybe 1 minute intervals. So after every 30 second or after every 1 minute, like one BTC order will be influx into the markets. What that will do is provide continuous support for BTC, and that will create what we call is a slow grind structure. And I think I'm recording. Yeah, I'm recording this session, of which I will share later with the arena guys as well. Let me delete some of this here and annotate more. So what am I looking for currently? Currently for BTC, like we are already at 92K, and this could like this here, we are currently front running the limits. Since we are in price discovery, something I will explain about price discovery is that there are a lot of orders that are layered on round numbers like 93K, then there is 94K, 90K, 94K is high above here. So there are a lot of limit orders that are set on round numbers, easier numbers like this, which is set by the majority of the people. And there's always a front run trade, like price will come right here. And since there's a lot of orders that are limited just around here, let's just say there's a like take profit limit orders, sell limit orders, like short orders. What usually market participants do is front run that sort of limit orders. By what they're gonna do is like even if you like try to take a short here, it will work, and maybe put your stops here, your TP here, or maybe here, depending on how price forms, it will work. And why is that? That's because of that sort of layering of limits is being front run by more advanced traders, or you could say the overall market maker flow, which they recognize that there's a lot of orders sitting here. What they will do is like they will influx more market sells just before those orders hit, and people who have like create some sort of a rejection at this level. And what will happen is like people who are interested into selling limits at such round number orders, but what they will do is like they will realize that their orders are being front run, and they will remove their limits from these levels and start to market sell as well. So that creates a sort of a chain reaction for these levels into price discovery and create some sort of like dumps. And this happens at like support level as well. Let's say a lot of people would have their majority of people would have their buy limits at 90K now. And what price will do is like a lot of limit orders are like set there, and what price is doing like coming there, and some people will recognize those limit orders there, and what they will do is like to make them chase those the price. What they will do is like they will start to market buy around this level, front running every major limit order that is there for either take profiting or for mainly buy orders as well. And once they have moved the price enough, the people who have been front run will realize that their orders are not getting filled. And what they will do is like cancel out their orders from here and start to chase price and hit market buys or take profit on their shorts on market price, and that will create more pumps. Like like what I'm trying to explain here is working out in real time, which is that some people have observed those type of like limit orders that are setting up here. Like I told you, even if you take a short around here, TP around here, it will pretty much work because of that sort of front run structure, which is a strategy that I use a lot in Orderflow, which is a short. If I wasn't doing this meeting, I would have taken that short, which is a very decent scalp. Let's just say how much is that? That's like $400 move, which is pretty decent for a BTC scalp at least. And you could potentially see this move even going down further here if the people that have limit sells or take profits for their buys around here. If they recognize, oh shit, that our orders are being front run, what we are gonna do is like we are gonna remove our limits from this level, and we're gonna start to just market sell BTC for what we are getting, because we don't want to like have a much bad TP or a much bad sell level. That's the idea behind this type of price discovery trading. And why do I mention all this? It's because we are at a very significant level of 100K, which everybody expects, like literally everybody expects 100K, which is like majority, let's say 80% of bullish people expect it to go 100K or even higher, which I personally believe in that we are going to form a sort of distribution that is just below the 100K level, because like I tell you, so many people have like limits just set around this level. Mainly I would say like spot buys. So if somebody has a spot buy that is from here, or maybe much lower, they would have their TP limits set around 100K level. And what they would expect is that price to come up here and they hit their TP level and everybody's happy, which isn't the case. Like everybody is never gonna be happy in trading markets, because there's always a counterparty sitting instead like in a counter way to liquidate them and to make money off of their wrongdoings, right? So people who have their limits sells right here, when they realize that a lot of people that are countering them are starting to distribute price around these levels, they will realize that they are not getting their ideal TPs very soon. So what they'll do is they'll cancel their limits and start to sell around these levels, which will cause another flush down from around this level, which is the scenario that I and Rizal are looking for. Of course, if we are to like continue to grind up, let me delete some of this. Of course, if you are to like continue to grind up or show more TVAP momentum that looks like this, which I told you what TVAP is. TVAP is just like a layering of orders, iceberg orders, which will lead to a slow grind in structure. And that is something that you can trade very easily if you recognize that. You just need practice and some screen time to be able to recognize that, and you should be able to like trade that very well. It was similar with the 70K. Yes, it was similar to what we had done here. As you can see, I think we were about to hit I'm not sure, like 74K. Yeah, right here. As you can see, we do not encounter these round numbers very well. Like 74K right here was pretty much like very easily front run. And that created like tops are not created by the ones that sell here. Tops are created by the ones that sell to that reaction. Those are again those type of people that have their round number limits or entries set at these levels, right? So tops and highs and bottoms are created by the the people that are chasing market, and the ones that have like perfectly executed that top are not the ones that create top. They will likely TP when these people have like sold. The tops and bottoms are always created by those who chase, and those are the people that have their limits set at round numbers like 74K. And I'm explaining all this because this is very important to understanding where we are standing in terms of price action, both lower time frame and higher time frame. Like for now, as you can see that 92, what's level was this? 93K, right? So this is a round number right here. And there's a lot of cells that were here, which, like I told you, if you take a short here and TP this FVG, which could be a very decent 400 scalp move, which would be nice. And if you start to reject here and then break structure right here, if we start to break structure at this specific low right here, what that will do, which we haven't done just yet, once we do, what that will help with shorters and those people trying to sell is all those people that are sitting to sell or take profit at this level will recognize that okay, price is starting to deviate or price is starting to become weak even before their sells are hit. So what they're gonna do is like chase into sells and create a much further move down. That's how you trade, and that's how you understand what is level to level trading based off something that's in price discovery. And what is price discovery? Price discovery is just some sort of pair or asset that is reaching highs that it has never done before and just discovering price to whatever extent it can. That's what price discovery is, and that's my higher time frame rises as well. And I could probably show you like a what a distribution schematic looks like and how you could like potentially trade based on that. So these are the true scenarios. I can't copy paste it. Okay, I can. Okay, so these are the two potential scenarios that I am looking for. Let me see if I can copy paste this image here as well. I can't paste. Okay, so these are the two scenarios that you will look for to recognize in distribution. The first scenario being, if I could, give me a minute, I'll annotate on the screen. So the first scenario is that obviously you have a blow off bullish buy high that is being formed, something like this. And you could see some more slow grind that occurs after the initial sells, which initial sells is like, obviously there's a lot of cells layered this entire way up to 100K, but most of them are just like sitting right at 100K level. A lot of cells like hit the price and they create some sort of a decent first sell rejection. And after that, there's some sort of like bids that come in that are there to support that specific trend. And what happens after that is that there's trapping for buyers, which is again an overflow concept that if you have a second high formed after that initial sell, what that will do is like that will be like a chamber for people who are buying above this specific level. And I don't have EXO open on me right now. If you could give me like 5 minutes after this, I'll open EXO and show you how the order flow would look like as well. And you would see that a lot of people who like try to buy this level and price like instantly rejects and retraces from this level is what creates a distributive top based on the schematic one of it. That is, a lot of buyers are stuck in this level right around these levels and high. Everybody who's like bought above this level is now underwater and is now in a loss position by the time you are here. They have red P&Ls. And obviously, if there is somebody who's selling, and there's somebody who's selling, and if you have a car, like from the analogy I'll explain, if you have a car that you bought a car and you want to get rid of that car, you have to sell it, right? Same for buying positions. So if you have a buy position and if you want to get rid of it by the time price is here, like you are in a loss, you have to sell the position. So what that will do is like people already selling and the buyer that is stuck here, him selling as well creates a chain reaction as well. It's all about chain reaction. That is what represents slow grind both here. Here would be like a lot of people who had like shorted around these lows, and once they start to like sell, like obviously it's the same analogy for a short. If you are selling, if you're selling a short and you have to get rid of that position, you have to buy and give it back to the exchange. So that creates a series of buy reaction, and that is what creates so a series of like other people's liquidations and TVAPs is what creates continuation and strength for us, which simply explained is what we call as a slow grind setup, which is very easily tradable. You just like long the higher low, put your stops in the prior ones, and then the market just does the job for you, right? And that's what I'm trying to explain here. So if you see that sort of structure that represents some buyers trapped, and that sort of like buyers start to sell and create a chain reaction is what I would want to like short back to 70K and lower. This could potentially play out maybe in a week or maybe in 2 months or 3 months as well, because we are like dealing with very hard time frame structure. We have never been in like entire BTC time to these prices before, but you still would want to keep this overall idea in your mind, how you would want to like play the structure. And the second distributive schematic would be this right here, which does not really look like the prior one where we have the initial sells hit the market, which create a high, but after that high there is just continuous breakdown based, and this is morely based not on like buyers trapping into highs. This is morely based on sellers being more dominant, more aggressive here, which is like you see a lot of highs keep holding. There is no sort of structural break into highs. This is what we call as the distribution schematic 2, which has a lot more depth in it, which I have like explained based off order flow as well. This here has more dominant sellers. And if you see this sort of structure as well, you would want to get yourself short when you see continuous high holds like this. You don't want to get like short too early into the price action here. You would have like many opportunities to be able to short this type of structure, because this looks like a slow bleed down, which again is continuation and strength in that specific trend, right? That's what we are going through and what we are trying to explain. And for the overall like BTC, we are still just below that level of like let me just delete some of my drawings here. So we are still below just at 93K level. Where is it? This is around here, 93K level, right? And we have not broken that specific low. We are instead holding higher lows, which I would not recommend just shorting here. Maybe it rejects here, but I would say the better trade would be once you see that sort of like breakdown right here, which you could potentially like take another trade, like try to short here, stops based up to that high, and then trade the breakdown. Like I told you before, the initial reaction off of these front runs of levels like, let me see, 93K. So we have 93K round number, like I tell you, a lot of limits sitting here. So the initial reaction, that is the first move that's being done here, is the trade setup that you always want to play. And if you see some sort of like low holding in your trade, like I could show you maybe here. I think I'm on the 15-second chart already, which is the lowest time frame, which again would be considered a very fast scalp, like in a few minutes. The first reaction is what you want to play off of these sort of front runs. And once you get that sort of like first breakdown of flows of structure, that is where you want to either add to your short position or a long position, or you want to either trade that breakout, right? That's how you would want to be trading price discovery. And based off like the overall structure that we have for the moment, I would say the support levels or the levels I'd be very interested into trading. Let me just like mark it out for you guys. Where is it? The first level that I'd be very interested into trading is this, because this is just a very clean series of higher lows, as you can see for yourself, like a very clean series of higher lows. And like I told you, like where is the let me just mark the 93K out here. I would potentially, like me personally, if I don't have my exchange open right now because I'm explaining, but I would have like a short with my stops maybe around here, and then try to play that till around here, and maybe like take partials if we like hold this low. Taking partials here because we are still doing like a from here to here. This is still a $370 move, which is pretty decent to be considered for a scalp in my opinion. And like till here, $1,000 move is very good. And for now, these are the only supports that I'm looking for. The rejections that now I'm looking for. So these are the POIs that I am looking for at the moment. And what exactly are POIs? We can like discuss that later on in later sessions. And yeah, that's what I am currently looking for. We still have the low holding. That is something you want to observe. Once we break this low, you can assume that okay, we if we come back here, we are likely to tap this like sort of POI that we have sitting right here, and then form some sort of structure, and then be able to take more trades based off of that. That's for that. That's its BTC update. And for Ethereum, Ethereum is already at a level which could pretty much be divergence as well. So BTC right now looks like prior all-time high would be like prior all-time high, and then we have like broken prior all-time highs. So we could pretty much like be doing some sort of like distribution schematic, a divergence here because Ethereum looks like this. Like Ethereum does not break prior all-time highs, and BTC has like broken prior all-time highs. So we could pretty much be in a overall divergence base of SMT just on BTC and Ethereum alone. So I wouldn't be surprised if BTC starts to form that sort of like distributive structure around this area from like 92K to like 96K max in my opinion, and Ethereum forming that sort of structure around this level of like 3.1K to like 3.5K. And what's everybody typing? Audio. Can you guys still hear me? Hello? Oh, okay, okay. So how about all season? I would say like all season, I would say would depend. I would say it would be here for a while because once BTC starts to like distribute and just like range and chop, obviously once BTC starts to chop, that's when alts move a lot. And also have been like moving all a lot already, like based on Pepe and Sol and a lot of other alts. So I think we have already been in that sort of like bullish trend for quite some while if you haven't noticed. But if you want to like see that there's like gonna be a proper rotation to alts, I would say your best bet is to wait for BTC to start to chop again because alts start to move when BTC dominance start to lower. And when does that happen is when BTC starts to chop, right? In a wider bracket range. That's when the rotational money that is in altcoins, that is in BTC, moves to altcoins and moves to Ethereum, right? So your best bet is to look for and pray for BTC to start chopping, and that's how you could be able to trade alts. And I would recommend that you use some tools like actually I have another tool. I will have to like search it up and then maybe send it out in Arena tomorrow. It's like a volatility tool that tells you like it's like it has a Z index, so it'll tell you which like and it has like dots all over it, so it'll tell you which coin is like very volatile based off like their open interest, and which coin hasn't moved based off that volatile open interest volatile. And why do I like talk about these two things? I'll just give you a brief explanation for it. Open interest is what represents, which we also call OI. Open interest is what represents for you the amount of positions that are being opened or closed on a pair like BTC or any sort of pair, right? And what is Z index? Z index is what tells you about volatility. Like this share is a volatile coin, and why I'm talking about this specific indicator is because you are able to see if like some coin is getting a lot of volatility, sorry, some coin is getting very less volatility, but it has a lot of open interest opening up. So there are a lot of positions that are opening up, assumably long positions or buys, and the coin it has not moved yet, so you're able to recognize that on that specific indicator that okay, a lot of people are longing this coin, buys are happening on this coin, but this coin is not being moved just yet, so it is likely to pop up in the near future, right? So that's the sort of indicators you want to have in your arsenal, right? Those are the type of things that you want to use for your indicators while trading altcoins, because there's always like hundreds of altcoins besides the Ethereum, Solana, Pepe, the Dodge, Tia, the main ones. The main ones sometimes move, like Pepe. It wasn't moving really that much like a few weeks prior, but now it's suddenly moving, and then it's will suddenly start to chop again. To be able to get a trade out of these coins like every other day, you can also use volume on that indicator. I'll give you the link to that indicator tomorrow or tonight maybe because I don't have it open just now. And based off those three metrics, you're able to recognize and be able to take a lot of trades on altcoins, and you will be mainly able to understand how position opening and closing of positions matter and how like volatility affects a coin as well. So that those type of tools are what you want to like equip yourself with when you are trading like altcoins, right? You don't want to have like other stuff or maybe like looking at Twitter or other traders. That's how you won't be able to like catch the better moves. Once you recognize how to use these indicators, you can like trade any time of the day based off of these indicators alone. Okay, so like I said, like we did not have that sort of like breakdown right here, and that's what is again a representation of a TVAP. And the second trade would have the better trade would obviously be once we had broken that sort of low right here, because that would have represented all the people that were trying to sell around this level to have like aped for their sells and start to like market sell once we had broken that level. And since we had not broken that level, we had no sort of trigger to short that level right there. Give some materials from your. I will make sure to like send you guys the info. I was just busy traveling last few weeks. That's why I wasn't really active on any platform really. But I did put out like a just like a course and some educational stuff, and then just gave out to other people. And like during my time of traveling, everybody has been learning, and like a lot of people have like now started their own groups. Now they're starting to um spread that educational content, which was very nice to see. Like everybody's learning from it, which was like enough for me to know that okay, I've done something for the community. That's why I took a break and then went for my travels. But now that volatility is pretty much back, I'm back to trading as well. I'll try to like share more in Arena. I'm not sure if should be posting in the Arena Telegram or the Circle website. If you guys could just like update me where you are more or mainly active at, I'd be more active there. As for BTC, the next rejection that the next stop is like a 1K move from here. That is, we were at 93K. I'll be looking at 94K, and I'll have this mark, and I'll just be holding prior longs, which I have. Like I took two longs today as well, which I'll just be holding those and waiting for how price develops based off of that. Again, that short front run level, because we are so very close to that ideal level right here, we could potentially top any time based on that sort of front run of that level. That's why I'm trying to not ape into shorts, like major shorts. Just now, I'm waiting for that sort of breakdown, like I tell you. Once you have that sort of like a front run from that like round number first, once we have that sort of front run, and then we have that sort of like breakdown from that front run after that level is where I would like to like go huge on shorts, just not yet, as we could potentially go to maybe 95K, and like everybody knows, I'm more of a reactionary trader. Telegram, all right, thank you. If you guys have any questions, you can let me know in the chat. If anybody has like any questions, you can definitely let me know. And or if you have any questions as well, you can either DM me on Telegram. Just it's just that a lot of DMs I have been piled up with, so I'll take like a day to just go through all of them, and then eventually I'll make sure to like reply to everybody and send out the Notion as well, and make sure to clear up anybody's concept about trading if they have something to ask. PND ask, do you have some other way Wait, some other way for price levels apart from round numbers. Yes, I do, and those are based off order flow. Apart from you could use Fibonacci as well, but like Fibonacci, you could use if you mark it from. Let me see. Fibonacci, and there's like two ways. Besides the round number structure, there's only two ways. I'll tell you. It's either to see use heat maps. Let me type it out actually, or you could use. Because in price discovery, order flow is not that important to you because what type of like uh what type of like rejection or support level is sitting above here? What type of like support level is sitting around here? There is none, right? So it's either heat maps, and heat maps tell you like limit orders sitting there. So which is pretty much like similar to the round number level support. So if you use heat maps, you will be able to recognize, okay, there's like a limit order sitting here as well as here as well, or maybe in even like for buy levels as well. Or if you use Fibonacci levels, you could use some mathematical edge to your levels. Like usually I prefer 1.0 point like 68, 1 point two, 3, where's that? 1.68, 1.272, and these are the levels that I personally recommend, which you could mark out while you're trading like this. But I don't really use Fibonacci that much because I feel like this is just this has not really worked for me in my years of trading. That's why I don't recommend it to other people as well, which is why I will share that you should be able to use actual orders that are sitting on the market than just like mathematical numbers, right? Because those actual orders are what is making up the entire market itself and is what is representing actual participants in the market, right? So you should be using tools like actual orders or order flow to be able to recognize those levels. Like this is a very decent scalping environment. Like if you see this, for me, for what I see like a quick break structure on the lower time frame, and after that break structure, I see like a high note breaking right here, which to me is representation of like a weak buy trend here. Like buyers are starting to lack support strength here, momentum here, and you could potentially take a short here, try to TP at this higher low, and as long as we don't break this higher low, we're doing good so far. And that's how you could take a short right here, a TP here, and if you have a reaction or maybe a low hold into this level, which could represent like a another higher low here, you could take a long base of that. And there's a POI that's sitting here. It's my chart is very messy, but I'll try to explain these concepts later on in our sessions as well. And somebody had like more questions. Wait. Yeah, well, on the does videos with your lessons will be able to see on the arena? I mean, this one. I have already posted quite some videos like on arena, but those are just like I would say like 5% of what I have like put out on the course and other places. How do you find places where you enter already trend? Uh, MRFAC asked me, how do you find places where to enter an already running trend, right? So if the trend is already running, like let's just say we are already running up from here, and how do I say, like we are already in a continuous uptrend, and you have like missed your bottom entries, you have missed your entries here as well, here as well, here as well, here as well, and even here, you should still be able to like take entries based off of higher low structure and flow. Like to me, I say and I say to like everybody, you are lacking practice and like screen time into trading. That's why you are not able to recognize these structures. Even for me, this is like higher low. I would trade this. This for me is a slow grind. I would like even take a long here. This for me is a low hold. I would take a long here. But since there's some like high holding here, I would TP around here based of that rejection. Or if this is like too much or too fast for you, you should still be able to like pretty much be able to size into entries on levels like these, because this is just continuous grind up and both TVAP and continuous bid as well. You see continuous momentum hold, low hold, there is no sort of like break of structure. You should be able to recognize strength, and And knowing that you are in a volatile environment, you should be able to take entries based off of that. And a lot of people have questions. Let me go over them. Entry. Re-entry rates. What are your price targets for BTC in this run? Which I told 100K is too ideal for me. If we start to like form some sort of structure here, I don't think we even hit 100K. But if we start to form this sort of structure, this right here, I would say that 120K would be max. I'm not like there. Obviously, like we are moving up from this move to like this move while Trump was elected, and Trump is not even back into office, and we are at a level where 100K is like about to hit, and that just like validates my idea of the 100K front run short, where Trump gets back into office, we start to distribute, and boom, we eventually start to get a decent sized retrace. And people who are looking to sell here, once they realize shit that we are not getting 100K very soon, they start to like ape into sells here when we are in for a very big retrace after that. Marco is asking, how often do you take into account the overall macroeconomic indicators out of the macroeconomic indicators you can only take into consideration if you're trading like Euro or GU or DXY. For BTC, I would say it's much more dependent on its own participant flow. You don't really need to, even if you don't know much about the overall market or the economics, you're still gonna do pretty much well on altcoins and BTC. Also, this looks pretty. Let me more clear some of this here. For me, this is like I told you, like a rejection here, and we're like the would be nice to get like a rotation till here. Uh, that's why, yeah. So if you're trading BTC only, you don't really need to know much about macroeconomics. Maybe watch out for like news like CPI. We had like CPI 1 hour, 2 hour before. So watch out for those type of news because we have some sort of like wicks, or like a quick move into those news. So you don't, if you have a position already running and it like quickly stops you out or and then goes in your way, that's sometimes bad. So you can like be wary of those news sometimes, just because you are in some sort of a position. Where can we find Casper asked, where can we find you apart from Arena, or when will you be? I am mostly active on my Discord group and my Twitter. I'll be very active in Arena starting next week. I have a lot of DMs on Telegram. I have to first go through them. Telegram chat was removed in favor circle. Okay. Okay. Um, PND ask, bar charts, chats, they have removed Shiny section. Can you talk to? Yeah, I will talk to the old guys to bring back the old material. Sure. Uh, Robert asked, how do you manage RR ratio, setting up trades so quick wall? It's like, okay, so you can do two things. You can use, I'll tell you, you can use either an it's terminals like Silico, Silico, or you can use like Teal Street. You can use either these terminals to execute fast, or you can have like VIP accounts because obviously when you're executing this much fast, you have to take into consideration your fees as well. So if you're trading on Bybit and you're only scalping BTC, you have to know that there's a lot of fees, right? So you're getting cut on fees. So you need to be trading either on low fee structures like maybe Prime XPT and right, so you need to be trading on low fee structures, or you can use a position size calculator size or like MT5. So these are the few options that you can use to be able to manage your risk very well. And my risk isn't not always like 1 hour perfect. Sometimes for like scalp, because I need more fast and see. Let's just say I'm not taking this trade. Let's just say if I were to like take a trade here and put my stops around here, my risk is usually not a perfect 1 hour. Sometimes it's like 0.5 hour, 0.6 hour, and sometimes it's like 2 hours. So my risk is like rotating between a 0.5 hour to like a 2 hour, right? So it's something that's staying between these two numbers. So that way I don't like miss out on my trades and I'm still able to execute very quickly. And that much, if you're trading just one pair or like two pairs, you should be able to know at least that much math to be able to execute that quick. Otherwise, you're gonna be out-traded by people who are able to calculate that quick. Robert asked, okay, Marco asked, yours, okay, thank you. What indicators are you using on trading? I have no indicators. You don't really need indicators to be working, but something that you can use is two things, only two things that you need in the entire TradingView panel. Trust me, I have like tried out every single thing that TradingView has to offer, and I will tell you the only two things that you need is an anchor VWAP. So you draw these VWAPs from the bottom, top to bottom, and see how like these levels are supported by the VWAP itself. And the other thing is the where's the market, where's the volume profile? The volume profile. I cannot fixed range volume profile. I think it's like fixed range volume profile, right? So these are the only two things that you need, and I will explain these later in the sessions how to use these because these define like volume, and volume is what defines the market itself. And Ross, assuming can we give more entry surplus sentiment? Yeah, yeah, sure. But mainly I am scalping the lower time frame. But once I do scalp like trades like altcoins as well, I can definitely share. Can you share your settings for fixed range volume profile? Sure. Uh, try it here. This is my settings for the input is gonna be row size being 500, which doesn't affect you. But the value area is what you want to be focused on. It's 68. And stop for SAI, you can just like copy this or screenshot this. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, like here, like I represent to you just a few minutes ago, where is our number? Like if you see that sort of, like I told you, you see that sort of initial structural break is when I recognize, okay, price is already weak. And if you start to hold another high and not break that high, is it is representation for me that okay, bars are starting to like fade out already. That momentum is fading out, which I could possibly show you maybe from my alpha. I have a lot of like things here, like how that sort of like there's a lot to go through here actually. I could potentially show you how that sort of like structure is formed and how you want to trade that. Oh, there's a lot of examples. Like here, you see that first break structure. Uh, I'll try to share the perfect one maybe later actually. There's a lot to go through. Like there's you see that sort of like initial move and you see that first break structure. And after that first break structure, the highlighted high you see here, once the highs start to not break the previous high, that's representation. Okay, this is already weakness, and that's where the initial trade comes from. And I have so many examples just like sitting here based off that, based on like Orderflow as well. But there's a lot to learn once you start to dive into the whole. I think this is being recorded. Let me check again. There is a recording panel. Yeah, it is being recorded. I will share this recording later. Sorry, I've just shown you be talking about BTC price action. Yeah, I have just talked about all of that, and I'll share the recording with Rizal and share it with the chat later. Right. If anybody has any more questions, you can just let me know in the chat right here. As for my current positions, that the positions I currently am in, I I think I have a long that is running from where is it running from? It's from around here and one is from around here. These are the only two longs that I'm running. And I did took like a scalp short. I'm not sure where it was, like around here. Then I closed for a very small move. Do you use ICTC SMP? I only know FVG, but like I mainly use price action and order flow and AMT. So I'll tell you my strategy combines all AMT. Order flow. So this is what my entire like strategy is combination of. And once you start to go in depth of price action alone, you'll lose your mind. And once you start to add these components, is when you recognize like why exactly price moves in the first place. because that's a question like every trader should have. Even if price move from your your entry to your TP, why did price move from here to here? What made it stop from going down here? You cannot know that based just off of price action. You will have to know how orders execute in the market, and that's depending on order flow and how rotations in price are done, and that is based off of AMT. So the combination of all three is how I trade BTC and all other altcoins as well. Right. If anybody else has any questions, you can let me know, and uh, I will try to answer them and then end the session. Also, another thing I think I should tell just before going here, this is the USDT dominance chart, which is pretty much like ignored by a lot of people. I'll tell you this right here, if you stretch out the date here, is 12th of like you can see on the bottom here, 12, 13, 14 March. And once the USDT dominance chart starts to bottom out, is where it starts to like price starts to top out on BTC. So we'll break out the price that is 13th to like 14th of March and go back to the BTC chart on the higher time frame and delete most of the things here, delete this here as well. And we go to the dates around 12, like you see here, 13 to 14 March is where we topped out on BTC and we bottomed out on USDT dominance. And you could see maybe this here as well, where we had like a move made to the top. We can see this made marked out the bottom. So when it's like at the top or pumping, USDT dominance is where price is bottoming. Like you can see the dates below, 8 or 5th of September. And if we go here, 8th or 5th of September is right here where BTC bottomed. So if you're expecting USDT dominance to like bottom here, create a sort of like a higher low structure, let me mark it out for you, like a structure that's like lows holding, like something like this, and we start to form that sort of structure here, it will be a representation for me. Okay, we have topped in for quite some while. Maybe we get a retrace right to 70K, 68K at least base of that. Obviously, we won't do like a vertical infrastructure just like that, which would be very obnoxious. What would be better would be that we start to range and then we do something like that. That would be much easier on the mind as well. Because if we just like go down and nuke right from here, that would be very, very fast. What time frame are you using? For the higher time frame, I make sure it's like 4 hour max because anything beyond that is too much. Like you cannot predict price. We are not future sellers. So people who use any higher time frame are obviously bullshitting in the first place. And if they tend to like give out like max predictions, that's obviously wrong in the first place. Because market is dependent much more on flow than it is on time and timely reactions. And just like an update I was giving here, we were like to move down here. And if we are to like break down this slow right here as well, that could be a trade here to this structure here as well, which I would be taking like a few scalps if I was on my screen. I would be like taking the scalp to this here 93K like stops here with this here. Once this started to like project here, put my like stop loss to where the high started to stall and high started to form, and put my TP where we have like formed this sort of like POI right here, and then TP or maybe like take another entry once we start to like break down. Put my stop space off of whatever the high is made. Put my TP around here. That's how I personally try to scalp the lower time frame based on like quick reactionary moments that the market gives me. Uh, and that the time frame that Tomek was asking, I use like 15 minutes max to understand like, okay, are we trending up? Are we going down? That's what I use to understand what we are doing overall. And then I go to the 1 minute and the 15-second to trade, and then I make sure to like zoom out to see what we are doing overall as well. What win rate do you have for I have like if I remember correctly, just before leaving for Singapore, I had like 82%. And I was in some sort of like leaderboard base of that as well. And for now, I haven't really scalped too much after coming back. It's just been 2 days since I've came back. Jojo said, bro, so your discards, people, do you have examples something? We're good to go at level in your Discord. You go to trader. Okay, you don't need to be. You just need to like post a lot of like good trades to be able to get that role in my Discord. Right. If anybody else has any questions, you can let me know. And if nobody has any else questions, I guess that's it. We'll see you guys later. And if you still have any questions, you can always like tag me in my Telegram. I was just not active like priorly on my Telegram. I'm more active on my Discord. So if I'm not reachable on Telegram, you can always see me on Discord. I make sure to answer those. And if you like the session, do leave a review in the arena, and we'd love to talk to you guys again. Right. See you guys later. Goodbye.